There was a conversation that I had with some students here at Michigan State when we were performing, or we were going to perform prior to COVID, a piece called Harriet Tubman that was arranged by a white composer. And we were, for the most part, okay with performing the piece because he used spirituals, and the composer used spirituals and African motifs to accurately arrange the song. The problem came when there was a workshop, a clinic, where we were meeting with the composer and studying the piece at the same time. And the room was filled with tension because there were things that the composer, a white male, was saying when we had conflict. And this is an ensemble made of predominantly white women. It's an all female ensemble. And I am one of about maybe 4 or 5 people of color in the said ensemble. And this man was making comments of, well, you clearly don't have any problems with the piece because you're performing the piece, but we did have issues with the piece. And there were instruments that were not accurate and were not of what we call the Black diaspora. Like, they were African instruments, but they were not associated with Harriet Tubman and were not used in the United States during slavery. What's the point of this story? The point of this story is that afterwards, after we had this conflict, all of us were like, should we be doing this piece? Because this person clearly does not care about an authentic Black experience. And the more we studied, the more we realized like it came from a place of ignorance and we didn't want to do it. And there were there were several narratives that were occurring of what plan we could take. And the plan that I wanted to take as one of the oldest people in the ensemble, because I was in grad school, was that this is the cards that we have been dealt and we're a week from the performance. And by completely backing out of this situation, it comes with this element of fear versus we could perform it and we can educate people on the things that are not accurate. And yet there's still a story that can be told. And there were 2 people who were completely against it, 2 young white women who were like, no, and we're scared and we don't want to offend and we don't want to do this and we're just, promoting pain. And like the panic that they felt was I can tell was extremely overwhelming to them. And my response at the end of our long and healthy conversation was the feeling that you have as white women having had this experience for the first time in your life where you are actually fearful of a response or people's reaction toward you based on a poor situation or something that you didn't ask for is the same thing that people of color have been dealing with for centuries. So the panic that you feel, I completely understand. And no one should have to live in fear for their lives or their children. What I am asking when you say no one's considering the white side, yes, we are. This country is built on the white side. And it's not your fault. That's the point that people are missing. You, as a white woman, did not do anything to attempt to kill me or to kill people that look like me. But we need to acknowledge that this country was built to oppress the other. And by continuing to not question certain authorities, we are thus being complicit in a system that was made to target people of color and marginalized groups. It's the same thing when it comes to women's rights, to Native Americans' rights, to our Hispanic Latinx community, to the LGBT community, so on and so forth. It's the same thing, but right now what we are focusing on is the fact that people are exhausted with watching Black people be murdered for the same things that other people have been getting away with for years. That's it. I am not condoning the language that people have used to you. I am not condoning the hate that you have experienced. Not at all. And I love you like I still teach you in that classroom, and I know you're grown and you have a whole life. I am not dismissing that at all. But we need to empathize and we need to acknowledge that this is a pain that's been beyond us. It's not Black versus white. It is protesters and it is everyone versus racism. everyone. So the people who are attacking you, it is not personal. Who make those threats, it is not personal. And they need to be reminded too. But don't worry, we're going to come from them no matter what color. Any hate, any distractions, we're going to come from them. And I hope you see my perspective, and I hope that seeing my face was helpful.